Welcome to another episode of Big Brain MMA podcast. I'm your host, BigSteve, episode 49, the first episode of PFL Challenger Series, week 9, or first week of 2023, whatever you want to call it. I guess it's week 9 somewhere. It is a continuation of last year. Full discretion, like I mentioned on my Twitter, this was my only losing organization in terms of profit last year. Obviously, I did lose. I ended up in a $500 loss for EFC, the South African promotion, but I only had one bet, so I don't really count. One bet, one loss. I played the whole season last year and ended up losing. It's very low-level stuff. I kind of try to play it like Contender Series, but obviously this is even more low-level than Contender Series, unfortunately. And it is what it is. You just have to exercise some caution. We will get straight into it. I don't want to talk too much about these fights. There's only 4 of them. Apologies for being late. There was a cancellation, so I wanted to take that first, right? Just to have all the fights updated for you. And also, I wanted to wait for the odds. And I don't think it's going to be enough time for the odds. Let me just have a look. Oh, there is odds. Beautiful. Okay, I can talk about that too. Beautiful. All right, let's get into it. First fight on the card. Mustafa Rashad versus Nick Ali. Super low level. This fight right here, what can you say? Mustafa, you could say that he's had the high level of competition. Right, he's been fighting in Brave. He's fought. I'll read him out now. Just one sec. Cool. Just the laptop being awful on me at the worst time. And he's fought some decent competition. He's been up at a light heavyweight. He's got some power. Fights with his hands low. He's the most likely one to engage in wrestling. But yeah, he just constantly loses position. Gets reversed. When he gets taken down, he does stand up, which is it's a good sign if Ali possibly does go for takedowns. But yeah, in terms of competition, he's fought 6-0 Osama El Saidi, which he beat by split, and then he got knocked out by him in a rematch. Diego Gonzalez guillotined him, choked him, 19-12. That guy is 20-15 now, and he's fought the who's who, right? If you look at his record, his last 3 fights, he went to a decision with Makhmud Muradov and lost in round 3 KO by Ikram Aliskarov, the guy that comes out knocked out, and I just got signed to the UFC as well. He's also got submitted by Yaroslav Amosov, Bellator champ, Danny Roberts, Andrew Winner, Ivan Buchina. Like, he's fought everyone, this guy. So yeah, Rashad has definitely fought the high level competition. Even his last KO win, Alexis Fontes, is a French guy that I was taping for Cage Warriors. He's a grappler, and he just ran through him. So yeah, he's just, I guess you could say he's got some power. He used to be a light heavyweight, and he's a lot more explosive, a lot more athletic and powerful. But yeah, it's hard to get a read on him. He's just running through these bums, and he has gone 5 rounds as well. He won a split decision. Oh, pardon me, that wasn't 5 rounds. Where's his 5-round fight? No, he hasn't gone 5 rounds. My bad. Maybe I'm thinking of just his 3-round fight. Yeah, he's gone 3 rounds. And in terms of Ali, one of the cheesiest guys you'll ever see, right? So Ali, the first 3 or 4 fights I watched of his, there's just all losses. I was like, I hope I see some wins from this guy, so I can actually see what he's good at. Good afternoon to Two and Dreams. Thanks for joining us. Because yeah, all I see from Ali is just Ali's losses, right? I want to see the good stuff too. Right, I got knocked out 3 times in a row. 0-0 guy, 3-1 guy, 1-2 guy, not good guys at all. And he only has 1 decision, or he's only gone to round 3 once, and that was in a decision win over John Gotti III, which is the son of the gangster, John Gotti, who's also a bit of a can crusher. And he just, showed a full-rounded game there. He was getting taken down, which is another red flag. His chinny end can be taken down with ease, and kind of took Gotti down himself and won a hard-fought decision. But after that, he got knocked out by Solomon Renfro and got knocked out by Mark Gardner, who was 1-2 again. So another 1-2 opponent. Only one, and who's 3-3 now. So just massive red flags. Rashad is minus 200 Full disclosure, I haven't bet anything. I still don't have odds. I don't know if I will have any bets. Just it depends on what kind of odds I will get. Last year when I was betting this card, usually the odds were pretty good. Tuesday, Wednesday, and it was only on one book though. So hopefully that book brings it back. Otherwise, BigSteve won't be able to bet on this. But yeah, Rashad is the minus 200. I get it. I guess he's less chinny, even though he has been knocked out himself. Ali's just winning and just loses. Just gets knocked out. His wins are over nobody. He's 0-2 guy. 0-0, 0-0, 0-4. Jay Ellis, right? Don't get me started on Jay Ellis. And his best win is John Gotti, for the 5-0. So it's just I don't want to put my money on Rashad at minus 200. He does have a lot of holes himself, so he kind of slows down. He gives up, when he does go for wrestling, he's not the best wrestler. He kind of gives up positions. I think Ali's a better grappler than he is striker. We just haven't seen it much. It's a dog or pass for me, in terms of the betting line. It's just, Rashad. I just think Rashad knocks him out. Like all of Ali's losses, he looks like a decent fighter, and then he just gets knocked out. Right, so just horrible way to start the card. It's just some low-level rubbish, personally. Now, we have a comment from FIFA X Gaming. I live in Europe. I can't fucking bet on PFL. Only Cage Warriors, KSW, UFC, and Bellator. That's all right, man. That's a lot of them. Can you bet on PFL at all, or is it just you can't bet on Challenger Series? Let me know. If you can't bet on PFL, it's a bit stiff. It's pretty good promotion for money. Alrighty, let's move on to something hopefully better. Joseph Whitner versus Zach Josola. So this is the short notice fight. Joseph Whitner, he was meant to fight someone else. Can't remember his name now. Doesn't matter. He was meant to fight Otoni, which is the guy the last guy to beat Pereira, the current middleweight champion. That was a back and forth sloppy fight. He ended up getting a rear naked choke. That Otoni was quite steamed there. I probably would have taken the dog just because the line was out of whack, even though I did favor him. Now steps in Zach Josola, who this guy is the short notice king, right? So Josola has a bunch of catchweight fights at super lightweight, they call it, the commentators, 160 pounds, not 150, 55, 5 pounds about lightweight. And he's got a bunch of lightweight fights as well. I think he has one welterweight fight. He's a southpaw. He's got decent striking. He's very experienced, right? He's 12-9, a bit of a salty record, but he's fighting the who's who, right? He got knocked out by Mike Rio back in 2011, who was in the UFC. Right? Got knocked out by Tony Dixon. Right? He got knocked out by Mehdi Baghdad in 2014 in the UFC. Ryan Fillingham split decision. That guy is, a decent low-level regional guy. Darren Smith, I don't know what that guy is, but 15-7, lost the decision. Tristan Connolly guillotined him in the UFC. He was. Anthony Romero, he lost a split decision against Romero in LFA. Romero was 8-0 at the time. He's the guy that won a Contender Series fight, and Dana White didn't sign him. He's like 11-1 now. And he took that fight on six days' notice, and he was a catchweight again, 160. And he went to split decision with him. So that's the thing. This guy takes short notice fights. I think he's always training. He trains at Extreme Couture. He trains at a good gym. He's experienced, trains with good fighters. I think he always stays ready. And these promotions just sign him. And then, he's been signed again on short notice, right? He beat Jeremiah Scott, ex-MMA, in 2021 by decision. 8-5 guy, pretty decent. Another catchweight. Something tells me probably another short notice fight. Got knocked out by Goitin. I don't know what that guy is. And he took another short notice fight against Henderson Ferreira in Eagles FC, Khabib's promotion, just this year, 2022. He's done boxing fights, etc., etc. So he actually was getting ready for a fight against Darryl Flores, which was 2nd of February. Not far away. So I don't know if this is going to be catchweight. Probably not. This is going to Joseph Whitner cannot drop to welterweight. He was an ex-middleweight. So I personally would have taken a dog shot on Zach Josola, right? Just a small one, and I've got odds now, and the odds are he's $4.10 underdog, right? He probably loses. But the thing is, I'll talk about his opponent first. So Joseph Whitner, he's a bit of a meat and potatoes kind of guy, right? He stays on the outside. Striking is a bit weird. It's he kind of clubs, stays on the outside, bounces, and then looks to counter and club with his hands and or poke. I don't know, really weird striking. The one time he threw a 1-2, a clean 1-2, he got a knockout. Like I said, he used to be a middleweight. Tons of fights, 16-2, most of them in octagon and RFA. RFA is it's a bad European promotion. It's not good at all, and octagon's not the greatest itself. And a lot of the times, he's mixed dancing on the outside, looking to strike, and then he mixes in takedowns, right? And he just rinse and repeat. He's got a lot of decisions, even though he's fighting a lot of these low-level guys. I think he has power. He just doesn't really knock out many people. And he has been knocked out twice in both his losses. Once in round 3 against the middleweight fighter, 2018, and then the other time at welterweight against Mate Karachek at the end of round 1. Now, I've seen him cracked multiple times. He seems to have I don't want to say he's chinny, but he seems to have a defense issue. Just the way he closes distance, etc. I think Zach is probably going to be the way better clinical striker. I've seen him piece up a lot of fighters, even Romero in LFA. He's just, taking that on short notice again. And, he's a career lightweight or super lightweight, and he's going up against the next middleweight who does look quite big, quite juicy, athletic. And I think he's going to get takedowns here. Zach, in a lot of the fights that I'm watching, even the ones that he wins, he kind of slows down late. I think to win this fight, he needs to get a finish, or he needs to, do his thing for 3 rounds and win a decision, even though Joseph is constantly going to go for takedowns and wrestling to steal rounds, and he's probably going to get him because he is a big guy. But I think Zach Josola he has a wrestling background himself. I've seen him go for takedowns. It's just the size or a difference here. I think this is the perfect fight for me to lose money on a big dog. He has been preparing. We'll see. The only reason I keep losing the only reason I ended up down on this promotion is because I was looking for big dog shots, but they're so low level that Bruce Soto. I tried to fade Brucey Soto, and then he was losing against Travis Davis on short notice, and he got a jammy flying knee. It's good because I faded him in every single PFL fight after that, so it's all good. So yeah, this feels like a fight that I really want to take a shot, but it's slim margins. Whitner's on. Not Whitner. Zach Josola is, again, less than a week's notice, upper weight class, and he's going up against an ex-middleweight. So we'll see. But yeah, I'm eyeing it. I'm eyeing a dog shot here potentially. Haven't played it yet. Hopefully even more steam comes on Whitner. Alrighty. Next fight, Eric Aliquin versus Thad Jean. Decent fight. Eric is a jiu-jitsu guy, black belt apparently. Not too impressed with his jiu-jitsu game, if I'm being honest. He's 7-0, undefeated. Only reason he's undefeated is because he's fought nobodies. If you look at his record, his first fight, Kennedy St. Louis, who's quite a decent regional opponent. He's fought the who's who, Slava. He almost knocked out Slava Borashev. He's guillotined Scott Ritz, the guy that just got guillotined by Fuller in LFA. And he had a deep triangle and a deep armbar, and he couldn't submit him. And he's had a few, he looks for legs. He's easy to take down. Typical jiu-jitsu guy. He's had a lot of grappling fights, southpaw, in and out. Not very physical. So considering, he's a black belt and he's fighting nobodies, he's got 2 submissions, 5 decisions. And these are low-level guys, and he's not really finishing them. His last fight is probably the best opponent he's ever fought. Hugh Pewley in CFFFC. 8-4 record. Pewley's fought some decent guys. He got dropped there bad. Got up straight away, recovered, and they ended up backpacking Hewley. I think that was a 5-round title fight. It was. And he could not finish him. He had his back for 90% of the fight, and he could not finish him. That's just a horrible black belt. Right? And all these other wins are just, combates on Mexican regionals. Just a bad look, And his opponent here, he's a decent dog. Thad Jean, the silverback. Hopefully I pronounced his first name right. He's 4-0. He's a specimen, a very athletic, explosive guy. I think he's a southpaw. Good sprawl. I don't think he's a southpaw. I think he switches stances. Can't remember. I didn't write notes down for this fight because it was easier to tape. I found all these fights. They're not really on Tape Index. Tape Index only has one fight, but if you do your own due diligence, search up CFFC, the whole event. He knocks out Thomas Majewski there. He knocks out Sarek Shields in LFA, which was an impressive win. The Shields 2-0, gritty guy. Try to wrestle him. He did great to explode, reverse him, get Shields back. And then I found the Georgie Medina fight, which is his only decision win, in pro at least, is on his Facebook. It's a bit crap. You have to watch through the cage. One of his friends is recording it, but he drops Medina with a head kick. Sprawls, grapples him a bit. Just a well-rounded performance. He seems to be good everywhere. Can grapple, can strike. He's got power on his. As soon as you stand up with him, he's liable to KO you. It's a favorite pass for me here. Well, I don't know if I'll play it personally. I know some people playing the juice on Gene. I can see it, right? He seems like the least risky guy to implode here, just because Eric doesn't seem to be much of a danger submission-wise. I did see Gene, the silverback, get in a deep knee bar or a heel hook position in his debut, and he got out of it and knocked the guy out. But it's just, maybe that's a bit of a risk with the way Eric Aliquin hunts for legs. But yeah, other than that, I think most likely he just gets out, defends all submissions, drops Aliquin. If he doesn't finish him, he's just going to do his thing and go to a decision win. Just, take him down, stay safe. Just be the more athletic, powerful guy. Aliquin is his record is very deceptive. Right, when you look at his tape, it's pretty dreadful. But he seems to be improving, although he is 32. So who knows? Yeah, it's a favorite to pass for me. Maybe play some finished props. Another reason I'll just keep banging on about it. Another reason I ended up not profiting on this organization, and I absolutely killed Contender Series because there's no props. There's no props. I have to look for money lines on these juiced favorites or these horrible low-level underdogs. But yeah, if I had something, I'll probably play Gene by KO if it's playing good. If it's not playing good, I wouldn't force it just because he had a decision win in his last one. He's not gonna go crazy for a KO. Let's move on. Lucas Barbosa, Itzo Barbosa, probably the best fight in terms of quality. Personally, I think Lucas Barbosa, if you don't know him, absolute animal in the jiu-jitsu world. He fought Gordon Ryan in 2019 ADCC. I ended up watching that live, stayed up all night, and he did what he had to do. He was very close. He took Gordon Ryan down multiple times. Now that was at 99 plus. That was a heavyweight division. He did look a bit smaller, but he was taking Gordon Ryan down, which is impressive. He exerted a little bit of energy, and then with like a minute or 30 seconds to go, I can't remember, Gordon Ryan took him down and, got the hooks in and won by 3 points, literally close fight up until the end. And honestly, Lucas Barbosa, the Hulk, he did look a little bit smaller than Gordon Ryan. So him dropping down to welterweight here, it's not a crazy drop. And he had a cancellation before. He was meant to fight someone else in PFL, and the fight got cancelled. And I think there was photos of him. He looked fine. He looked like he already made weight at welterweight. So I wouldn't go crazy, assuming that he's going to be just a massive guy or not make the weight or something like that. But yeah, he's fought the who's who. He submitted Gilbert Burns. Mikhail Galvao was the last guy to submit him. He beat Leandro Lo in 2011. He submitted Leandro Lo. Like, he's got an amazing, rear naked choke, and rest in peace, Leandro, one of my favorite jiu-jitsu guys. So just a who's who. And then Itzo Barbosa, like this guy, I've taped this guy a bit when he was making his debut against Mamadou Sebi. Sebi, very athletic, Egyptian Olympian, right? He's very explosive, very athletic, but he's just a bit of a flake. But Barbosa, he's well-rounded. He's got some nice pop on his punches, decent straights. He looks to grapple. Just got that typical Georgian fighting style that we're seeing a lot now. Wants to grapple. He can be taken down himself, but he's improving. He's 29, but if you watch his amateur scene, he makes improvements. Fight to fight. He does seem a little bit, I don't want to say chinny, but maybe defense is not the best. He has been He has been guillotined in 2001 by Mike Vacation, who was had a 4-year-long layoff. He got cracked in the second round, and then he got guillotined, dived straight into a guillotine. He lost to Isaac Watkins by decision, and he in his pro debut he decisioned George Molina. Just looked to use his wrestling, and the Sebi fight was just a back and forth brawl. It was Sebi just kept cracking him and took him down, and then he took Sebi down. And like I said, Sebi's a flake. He just has no. Well, it's all systems go. He doesn't know how to manage his cardio. He lost as a massive favorite in his Bellator debut as well. And then eventually caught him with a 1-2 and knocked him out. So yeah, he's got some decent punches, and it's just he can't. I don't think he can really use his grappling here against the Hulk. I mean, going for takedowns against the Hulk will be the stupidest thing you could ever do. But you never know. These guys, he took Sebi down, who's an Olympian. Maybe he wants to take Barbosa down. It's just hard to see how this fight's going to go. The Hulk has had 3 MMA fights back in 2011 and back in 2012. He lost to some guy, and then he beat the same guy twice. And he's 2-1 at the moment, but who the hell knows? You can't even watch those fights. Is he going to gas if he goes longer? Highly likely that he just instantly submits Barbosa. Like, if he just takes him down, if he just does a Gilbert Burns, takes him down, just stays on top, doesn't do, submission over position, position over submission, pardon me, just waits for his time, go to mount. He can easily just run through him, and honestly thought he was going to be a crazier dog. But yeah, he's not. He's $1.40. I'm not advocating, you lay the juice on him. It's just a bit interesting, I see money actually coming in on Abdelaziz, right? I guess I understand it. He's the more well-rounded guy. But, we've seen Gary Tonin, another jiu-jitsu guy go into MMA, and he's like sparking people. And he says he's been training boxing for a while. Who knows? It's just too many questions here. Too many questions. Yeah, I don't know what his chin is like. I don't know if Itzo is going to survive. I mean, he might survive, and then he still might, the Hulk might have grappling for 3 rounds to grind him out to decision. If anything, I think Lucas Barbosa's grappling is it's going to translate well into MMA because he's a very good wrestler. He's explosive and he's strong. He's going to be a bit like Gilbert Burns. He's going to be throwing people around, and he's got a great top game. So, yeah, I'm leaning him here. I've got some comments here. What do we got? Babalaze going to mess his opponent up from AY. Let me know why, mate. Let me know before I jump off the stream. Why is he going to mess him up? I'm curious. And Akai Fueled Mountaineer. Gene KO is plus 175, plus 120 inside the distance. It's not much. It's not much, personally. Gene is very patient. He doesn't force the finish. So, yeah, I won't even have it. So, but yeah, AY, let me know, mate, before I jump off. I'll quickly go over it. Quickly go over this beautiful, beautiful card. Beautiful high-level card, as I remember it from PFL Challenger Series. Mustafa, Rashad, Nick Ali. I don't know, man. Mustafa by KO, I guess. It's a dog or pass. I don't know. Pass. I've got nothing I want to say on this fight. Ali's just way too chinny. Joseph Whitner, Zach, Josola. Josola on short notice. I can't be against the little short sprinkle, Joseph Whitner, I've seen him knocked out. I've seen him a little bit hittable. The only problem is, he's used to be a middleweight. He's big. And Zach, he's lost to a lot of the guys that he's fought, a lot of the decent guys, but he's been preparing. So, yeah, I think it's backed into the line. If anything, that's going to be my only play. So, Josola, a little sprinkle. We'll see where the line goes. Nothing official yet. Eric Aliquin, Thad Gene. I think Gene either knocks him out or just does what he has to do to win the decision. Just a more athletic guy, more power. I think he's going to survive the grappling. And then Lucas Barbosa, Itzo Babalaze. Solid fight, best fight on the card. Excited to see the Hulk's debut. I can't fault you either way. If you want to take Itzo because he's a big dog and he's well-rounded and he's improving, why not? I can't take fault you for hammering Barbosa either. $1.40, honestly, he could look minus, 1,000. You can take him down and submit him in 30 seconds, right? Like Gilbert Burns against Neil Magny. It's just hard to know for me personally. I'm personally leaning Barbosa. I just think at welterweight he's going to be an absolute brick shit house. So yeah, nothing on this card at the moment. I am leaning on that massive dog on Zach, the short notice Zach. Hopefully the line stays, or hopefully it gets a bit wider for me. So, yeah, old mate, AY hasn't responded yet. So I'm going to kick it. Like and subscribe if you haven't. I've just got over 200 subscribers. When I get to 500 subscribers, I'm going to start giving money away again. $100 for people that write comments. So get me to that. And for a few weeks, I'm just going to be giving money away. So get me to 500. I do appreciate everyone that has liked it so far. I will be doing an LFA podcast. Just like I did with the KSW. I'll try to tape the whole card. I will try to sleep a little bit more though. That messed me up. Cheers. But other than that, yeah, maybe a day or two I'll do the LFA card. It's on Sunday, it's the same day the UFC will be on, so we'll see how we go. I'll try to tape every single fight. Other than that, thank you for listening, and good luck if you are betting.